Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. I'm still looking at something on my screen. It's just on my preview screen keeps on resetting and reflashing and resetting and reflashing and resetting, reflashing. I don't know why it's doing that, but hey, welcome to YouTube, right? But as long as the stream seems to be working okay, maybe I'll refresh the page here in a second. Hopefully it doesn't crash anything. But anyway, let's just go ahead and say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Hello, doing good.
We're going to refresh this. Hopefully it works. No idea what YouTube is doing these days.
Yeah, mine is still working.
No, wait. Yeah, it just keeps on going back, resetting, going back, resetting, going back, resetting, going back, resetting. It's really annoying. Wow. I don't know what in the world YouTube's doing. But maybe by the end of this, I'll have like 1 million views or something on this video. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see what happens. YouTube's doing weird stuff. YouTube needs to like start fixing the things that are actually broken and stop messing with the things that aren't broken. I think that's their goal in life. It's to literally break everything that's working fine. Like YouTube, the current YouTube Creator Studio thing works perfectly. What are they doing? Cramming Studio Beta on us, which is a steaming pile of manure.
How do you think they got the $1 billion for our discussion tonight?
Oh, yeah. Well, Dan sent me an article how we got the $1 billion, and we'll be doing a video on that one later. Go ahead, Quinn.
Tom, the reason they're doing the Studio Beta thing is because the Studio Beta is material design, and they're trying to make everything material design.
Whatever. I mean, I don't care what the design looks like. I want functional stuff. When you start doing a material design at the expense of what actually works, we have huge problems. It's like on Penn State campus. He used to talk about this. They try and put on all these college campuses these huge emphasis on making it look beautiful. Never mind the fact that that tree obstructs the view out of the parking lot and somebody gets crashed into every other week.
Yeah, really.
It's like you gotta like have at least a little there.
If YouTube blows it and screws it up, you're gonna see a bunch of people with electrical tape putting their cut cords back together for their TV.
Yeah. So for example, I don't know if my refresh thing is doing this, but we already have 108 playbacks, only 24 people watching. So
half of them are yours, Tom.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. See, I'm up to 128, and I literally think it's because my studio here just keeps restarting the page. It won't stop. It's kind of hilarious. Let me see. Let me do this, and I'll turn on the kitty cam. You guys can kind of see what's going on here. There you go. There you go. Here's
I don't. Yeah.
So 21 active viewers. I don't know what YouTube is doing. I don't know.
Average view time 2 seconds.
Yeah, view time 2 seconds. Yeah, but YouTube is also doing really crazy things. Now, we did get a notification they were clearing out a lot of spam accounts, which is fine. But my actual total view count decreased by over 2,000 today too. I don't know.
Well, I had a thought. Is CJ sitting on the keyboard?
No, he's not sitting on the keyboard. Yeah. No, I looked at that already. Let's see. Shadow Sly is here. Greetings. Bruce Scott is a gray from the dark side of the moon listening to the transmissions. Hello, Bruce Scott. We did establish that Bruce Scott is a gray alien. I am a reptilian one. We kind of knew. I could tell from where he was at based on Alpha Centauri, but you know. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master, how's it going there, Ricky? I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is streaming tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Installing what, Haiku, I think? I don't know. Let's see. Wickosh, how's it going there? Is it correct that we hear no audio and only see a cat? Yes, that is correct. On these streams here, I mute everything except the cat. Well, I even mute the cat because he only purrs, you know. Anyone know the meaning of the word corporation? Yeah, evil group of nasty people seeking to destroy the world. That's the meaning of the word corporation. Weird because nowhere my HSG hard disk drive, which I recently installed, makes my laptop shut down when I render a huge image. I'm doing well, Ricky. How are you? Am I currently using the Studio or Studio Beta? I am not using the Studio Beta. I hate the Studio Beta. We're at 194 playbacks. I think it's all me. Let's see if we can get this thing up to like 5,000 or something by the end. That'd be fun. Marcus here at the bell. Greetings. Pope Marcelli, how's it going there, Pope? I wonder if they are going to talk about the Nord VPN hack. Not today. It is on my news for tomorrow. Yes, Nord didn't seem to have a server key hack. Just an FYI. I will cover it tomorrow. So I have not featured Nord in my affiliate link highlighting it for a while, just because they're such a pain to pay out. And
yeah, James 2 Cents did a video on that because he's actually uses them as a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, was he kind of a little stewed about it.
I looked at it and didn't see it to be as a huge of a deal, but I don't know. We'll look into it.
Well, to these people that are promoting it, it's a big deal to them.
I'm gonna stop my playback, see if that stops. Hey, it's not refreshing anymore when I pause my...
You're private internet access, aren't you?
Yeah, I prefer private internet access more than Nord. I do have affiliates for both of them. Simply fixed a LAN solution to keep less and less online. Yeah, there you go. That's good. The other thing you can do if you really do want a VPN, you could buy like just get a server on DigitalOcean and build out a VPN and connect to that if you want.
I have a VPN server at my house, and I use it for the purpose of a VPN, so I can access the network at my house.
I know. I do the same thing. Isn't it weird to actually use a VPN? What's supposed to be used for?
Yeah.
All right.
I just like it so I can say that I can view the internet from my house. You know.
Correct. Yeah. And view the assets you have in your network, things like that. Well, today we are talking about corporate serfdom. So, of course, I did cover the article a while back about Google putting some money into building some housing projects in San Francisco. But now Facebook has joined in the act. Would you like to be, who would like to live at a place owned by Facebook? Any of you guys want to live in a place owned by Facebook?
No
Heavens,
way.
no.
Just think about all the stuff they'd put inside their home. It's kind of like contractors would be building out houses with Google Nest products, but since Google bought Nest, they actually kind of stopped. It was a neat little article I found. Definitely interesting.
It's almost like if you want to work from us, you got to rent a house from us.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. So what we're going to talk about here is this really corporate serfdom, or are these people just dumping billions to help fix a crisis that they may or may not have started? So with that, let's go ahead and dive on in case you are unaware of serfdom, this is kind of like a form of slavery. This is effectively kind of what we had with like the sharecropping system we had after the abolition of slavery in the South. The slaves would be free to go, but you had no way to leave. And so what ended up happening is many of the slaves, they kept working on their owners' fields because they didn't have any other way out. And the wages were bad, but as long as they kept working the fields, they had a place to stay. They had food that they could eat. They were maybe allowed to squirrel away a little, and if they wanted to forsake their ties, they were free to leave if they wanted to. They just oftentimes they didn't have somewhere to go. Now, we saw similar things out west. Some degree of serfdom type approach happened in several of the oil industries, right? And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the oil industries, they'd go out and you'd see like a coal mine or an oil mine, and you'd go out and they'd be in the middle of nowhere. I used to live out west, and there's a lot of these if you find nowhere to look for them out west, where there'll be a little town. They'll literally go in, they'll build up schools, they'll build up houses, they'll build up all the infrastructure that you need, and they wouldn't even really pay with money. They'd kind of pay with the company cards. In fact, what's the song? There was the old song, South Park kind of featured it going with the Amazon stuff from this feature last year. What's the name of that song? Anybody remember what I'm talking about? Selling your sword at the company store. Old famous song. Somebody, I figure, would know it.
All right, you load 16 tons and what do you get?
That's it.
Another day older and deeper in debt?
Yes. That is the idea. But these oil towns would pop up. The company would own everything. You basically worked and you were effectively a slave of that area. And then when the town, like when the oil would dry up or whatever else, they would just abandon everything and everyone would leave and there would be nobody left. And so you end up with all this. So that's kind of what's going on in the serfdom view. The question is what is what Google and Facebook are doing, is this qualify? Are they building houses that to work, to be able to afford these? Or is this something else? And that's kind of what we're going to examine these articles. So what are you guys' initial early thoughts? And I got to fix the cameras, it looks like. So let me know your early thoughts, guys. Let me know what you have in mind there while I fix the camera.
Well, it seems to me from what I've read that Google has these employees and they're living in houses they can't afford. And they want to build more houses to put the employees in cheaper housing. But the money's got to come from somewhere. And, these big companies, you could probably take one sheet of paper and write down all the $1 billion plus companies in the United States, and it all fit on that piece of paper. And and not only that, the state of California's got to have some hooks into this as well, with property taxes and people coughing them up. And if they're bringing in new people with big, huge debts from college going over to work at Google in one of their Google homes, they're pretty well tapped out to the end of their life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Brian, thoughts?
I mean, if you're going to work for a company, it might seem nice up front to have them provide you with a house, and some companies give you a company car and company whatever, but is anything really free? Like you asked, would anybody really want to live in a house owned by Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
If you trust Facebook, you might not mind it very much, but I would rather not, just like I wouldn't want to drive a car owned by...
Trust Facebook? I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Not me. I mean, he was on TV the other night, I think, testifying to Congress or something.
Yeah. Load
Zuckerberg.
Application, Congress.com.
Yep. Yeah.
And now, when I was reading these articles, the question I have is this housing going up to support the staff? And it looks as though definitely the support staff, but not necessarily the main employees. The main employees can generally afford to live in the area. It's the problem that Silicon Valley is having is the support staff, your teachers, your nurses, your food service industry people, all the little peons that they need to pay their dues and serve the rich class in society. They have a hard time living. So that's kind of what's going on. So I'm still trying to understand all these ideas off the top. Quentin, what's your thoughts on this so far?
So one thing I can say is that I went to Silicon Valley this summer, and I went to Google headquarters. I walked all around it, and there are RVs just parked all around Google headquarters. And so I think they're employees that work at Google, probably not like the actual like you were saying, probably more the just like secondary level employees. And then they go and live in the RV that's parked right outside of Google.
Yep.
And so that's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to build this to fix that, because it's not like I saw one. I saw like 20 RVs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, people are living, hashtag van life, Vince, what do you think?
I think that in all circumstances like these, the devil's in the detail. And so, I mean, I was reading those articles you sent, and I just had a lot of trouble reading the ones that were company announcements. So there was one from Facebook and there was one from Google. Like they felt like there was so much spin in what they were writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I also found it interesting that you mentioned how old mining towns or oil towns or whatever towns that were built up on a particular industry are now since long buried and dead. Those towns are ghost towns, because if you let a particular industry get so large that they are now offering real estate to the citizens, that it can become a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at some point in time, Facebook may collapse, I mean, if not the application, then the company. It could, unless it's too big to fail, but...
Yeah, I was actually watching an old Anthony Bourdain episode, and he actually did an episode on Pittsburgh and how that used to be a huge mining town, which is an education for me because I don't know that much about a lot of the towns there.
Yeah, Dale Carnegie.
But now it's a complete ghost town with, I think it had one of the highest debts in the country, as a town?
It's pretty high, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not a good place to be. Quint, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say something that there's a neighborhood in Atlanta called Cabbage Town, and it was originally a mill town where it was cotton. They would like make cotton, or they would like make like cotton products and stuff. And my step grandfather grew up there, and his parents worked at the mill. And they had a mill house. There was a mill company, stores, everything like you said. It didn't die, unlike what you said now. That people live in the houses and stuff, and the mill is apartments now. But same sort of things what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah. So Vince mentioned these press releases. So actually, let me go ahead and look at comments real quick, and then we'll jump over and look at the actual press releases from these two companies. All right, let's see. And hello, if you just jumped on. Let's see. Stop using Facebook because I did not get too political. Is supporting Pete Buttigieg. I don't know. I don't know who that is. Surf here. Mitchell's a surf. All right. Nor didn't know anything about the hack for 7 months and didn't say anything about it until they were called out. Yeah, that's a little bit on the freaky side. The good thing is they didn't get like the passwords, user logs because they didn't have any. I believe if I read all the information correctly, that was the case. But I'll try and read into that a little bit more for tomorrow if I get the chance. Child's behavior. So Berkeley and other kids. Life is 90% what happens to you, 10% how you respond. Yes, absolutely. Life is indeed more about how you respond than what actually happens. I agree. Saddle Ridge, this is the song we were thinking about. Yes, The Company Store is that song. You guys can look that one up. Miners work for the mine. They paid the company for their shacks and then bought at the company store. Yes. But I did get my stuff off, so I'm good. All right. I even have an aluminum 5-cent piece in the company store. It's nice. All right. I'll have to watch Jay's 2 cents about that. Spartan Mills in Spartansburg, South Carolina. All right. I'm guessing that's one of those temp towns. Getting rid of Twitter. We'll start migrating business over to MeWe. Good luck going to MeWe, Mark. I closed the account because I just had concerns. If you want a business page, MeWe is just going to charge you for it. And there's not enough audience over there to justify it. Okay. Are you done with Facebook like Mark Twain was done with cigarettes? He quit over 1,000 times, man. He quit any time, right? All right. Anybody else have any comments, anything you want to read before I jump over to the corporate ones? Okay, we'll go ahead and leave our comments there. Let's jump on over to the press releases. So the first one we are looking at here is Facebook's press release. So they're basically giving $1 billion. They're not donating. They're investing. And that's a distinction. It's one thing to say, housing crisis, let's donate this to the city to help with the problems or whatever else, or let's donate it to the various charities. No, they're committing $1 billion mostly in investments. So that they can help the state of California to address housing affordability, i.e. get these RVs off our streets.
Yeah.
All right, so what they want to do here is $250 million is going with a partnership with the state and California for mixed income housing on excessive state-owned land in communities where housing is scarce. So public-private partnership indicating that they're probably going to see some ROI on this. Which basically means they will be making a little bit of money on that, which, if they're helping to get a decent housing projects off the ground, I don't have a problem with that. $150 million for production of affordable housing, including houses for the homeless in San Francisco Bay Area. So when you were in that area, Quint, did you see the drug problems and the PUI problems, or were you not find that?
I saw a little bit of it. Where the Airbnb we stayed in was in kind of an area like that, but it was like right on the edge, so I didn't see much of it.
Yeah.
But all those big towns are like that, where it's all mixed in.
Yeah. You don't want to stub your toe, and land on a heroin needle. Yeah, that'd be bad. All right, 225 million in Mileno Park. So it's land that Facebook previously purchased that is now zoned for housing. They want to produce 1,500 units of mixed income housing. Now, understand the way these housing goes, like mixed income, low income. So what this is different government projects. So like where I'm at here, now if you have an area that's just all Section 8, it generally is a torn up place of town. But where I'm at here is we have actually a block of Section 8, we have a block of tax credit, and we have 2 blocks of just traditional. And it actually, the traditional being here keeps the other places in a little bit better shape, which is kind of funny, you know. I have 25 million to build teacher and essential worker housing on public land for school districts. So this is where they want to help build housing to make sure that the teachers can actually live there without. Where's my teacher live? Well, guys, if you need any help with your math, I'm at the 3rd RV from Google headquarters. You know? So, you know, 350 million in funds for additional commitments based on rollout and effectiveness in initiatives described above, which is, trying to understand that, it's kind of crazy. So that's kind of what Facebook had to say. Any thoughts, comments on what Facebook is saying about all this here?
Yeah, they want to send all those RVs out to Slab City.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I'll go to Slab City. Sounds fun.
I just think the whole deal with this is Mark Zuckerberg is tired of looking at RVs all over Facebook headquarters, and so he's like, "We're just going to invest all this money in building housing."
So the Google article will say, does specify that some of that's going to be reserved for Google employees, some of it's not. I don't see anything like that specified in Facebook. So that kind of raises this question. If this is housing for these employees and they get either free or probably discounted housing for being employees of the company, now we are entering the realm of corporate serfdom. You can live here as long as you stay at our company. You leave our company, you got to pack up your house too. Which, if you've ever lost a job, you know that it is in and of itself is traumatic. You don't want to have to go through the problem of losing a job and then figuring out where to move to next. That's too many life changes at once for most people.
You know the contract that goes with that house is far worse than any of them darn user agreements that they give you for the software and so on.
Yeah. Now, that's if they're doing it, because they're not clear they are. Then the question then becomes, how is this going to be more affordable? Is this so more money, more housing units are being brought in to where are they capping them? Are they making sure that these are actually affordable? Because as of right now, what I think the average one bedroom apartment, which is a single or a couple, no family, $35,000 a month. No, I'm sorry, $3,500 a month. Wow, $35,000. That's a lot. Yeah, $3,500.
Who's issuing the loans for these houses? The First National Bank of Zuckerberg?
Probably. But of course, if there's like, hey, here's a bunch of money, let's build the houses, and then as long as they're affordable. Now, if they're open or other things, so what if one person mentioned in some of the comments in these articles that, you know, who's addressing the Airbnb situation? And I think that the Airbnb situation hurts housing more than about anything else in our current world. Because what ends up happening is people who already have the houses, they already have their money, they're going out and just buying up all these available houses, and the people who need houses have a hard time finding one and can't afford it when they do. And that's one of the factors that could be driving things up, and which is why some places have restrictions against them. I
know in San Francisco, the reason why the Airbnb we stayed in was where it was is because like in the main part of town, you can't have them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
This is what I meant when I said that. This is what I meant when I said that it's a bit difficult to read these announcements because there's not enough detail. There are still so many questions that are raised rather than answered.
Yep. Correct. So The Verge ended up doing a little bit, a good one. This was back in June. I think we covered this article back then looking at Google. And The Verge actually did a pretty good job of trying to parse out as much detail as they could. So Google was putting out $1 billion. As Facebook and Google each, they're throwing billions into it. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel, preventing unions, keeping labor for, pay wage freezes, and meanwhile they can throw $1 billion into it to rebuild something to then turn around and charge other people to live there. All right.
Yeah, it's like they make a competition out of who can make the most ruthless business plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're saying here $750 million, which is existing office space, which will be converted to 15,000 units. $250 million towards incentives for other developers to build 5,000 units of affordable housing. So in theory, something people could actually afford on a teacher's salary. And $50 million to nonprofits to help find a shelter. Which, hey, at least they're giving some to the nonprofits. I didn't see Facebook doing any of that. Like billions into here. Oh, you guys here have some $50 million to figure out. Get that poop off the street without $50 million, yo. So they say, sounds great, but let's bring down the reality. So they say, we're already expecting Google to free up as many as 9,800 units in the Mountain View area, and then offering to build 5,700. Company leases the property. So let's see, as of the time this article is written, the plan has not been approved by the town yet, but that's kind of what they're doing. This is an investment, not a charity, so they're leasing the land to developers who will rent and sell the units. So it's not a charity, and I'm okay with that. I'm not having a problem with them doing that. What my question is going to be is, are these actually going to be affordable, and are there stipulation terms, and do you get tied into the company if you're working for the company and living in one of these houses? We're not talking about single-family homes. In other words, we're looking for DINK housing at best. DINK is an old term. If you're unfamiliar with that, it means double income, no kids. So, a one-bedroom, maybe a two-bedroom. And so you have that type of thing. So it's not talking about helping build families, which is all part of this worldwide master plan to enslave the human race. Where's my hat? Hold on. All right, go ahead, Vince.
But the double income, no kids are likely the ones who aren't doing so badly anyway, right?
Correct. They're the ones that are best of all.
About?
Yeah, correct. But what I'm saying is
kids
that
are bloody
not...
expensive.
Yes.
They're the ones with the huge college debts.
Yes. So the idea, though, is that they're not building traditional homes. They're building sky rises, apartment units, things like that. Which is, let's keep people as busy as we can and, like I said, enslave the human race. There's an element of truth in that funny rant, We don't know where they'll be. Optimally, Google can help the Bay Area traffic woes by bringing housing closer to the big campuses. That's all I need. I never leave this small section. That is like definite serfdom, right? Yeah, I can't. Master Lord, Google, Master Lord, can I take a vacation? Can I have a pass to go to the other side of the country? No. Google won't.
It's okay, because we know where you are anyway because of your phone.
Yeah, Google won't be building 5,000 units of affordable housing itself. It will help developers secure land and permits for affordable housing. And then it is a 10-year commitment, all the while Google keeps growing. So, yeah. All right. Thoughts on that?
Well, eventually some of your double income, no kids are going to want to have kids. Mm-hmm. So that might enter into it, because at that point they're going to have to move.
Well, they still have college debt.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's the motivation that's important here. And my first reaction when I read this was that, are they doing this for pure philanthropy, or are they really essentially forced to be doing this because they've priced everyone out of their own homes?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they actually trying to diversify their business into real estate?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what comes to mind is a certain famous burger chain who makes most of their revenue through real estate rather than flipping burgers.
Yes, and that would be McDonald's for anybody that's unaware.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I really know who's going to pay for this, but I'm going to let Tom do the story on it.
Yeah. So Well, here's the thing. Like, I had a similar reaction, Vince. You look at it and it's like, obviously this channel, we're not huge friends of Facebook, not huge friends of Google, obviously. But at the same time, I don't want to bias everything against them. I'm trying to really understand what are they doing here. Now, one of the things you mentioned is, did they cause this housing crisis? In part, but not in full. Somebody left a neat detail analysis in one of the comments, and I could not find it again. But it was basically like even the high-paid staff of these places would have a hard time buying stuff. So it's kind of the same thing like here in State College. We are insanely expensive here in State College. So our average single-family home is $250,000, whereas my mother had a good single-family home in Meadville, right on the edge of town, and she like had to basically give it away for like $19,000. Like, man, I could go out and get a personal loan for $19,000 and buy a house, and have the thing paid off in a couple of years without any other house payments. And I told her, you could have gotten more for it if this is the edge of Meadville. It's like the last house before you leave the city of Meadville. I said, Mom, you just need to put up a sign up there saying perfect house to run a meth operation out of, and it would have doubled the property value. I'm telling you. Because that is a big problem down there in Meadville. It's the last house, and it's half in the woods, and it's just getting out of town, and it's just nobody goes down there unless they got lost or they're looking for seedy parts of town. So
you need to study it, supply and demand, man. Supply and demand. I know.
I'm telling you, but she just didn't take my advice on that. But all that to say, here in State College, our costs are so high because we have this big college, and the students get these practically unlimited student loans to go to college because the college keeps on raising the tuition, and then the housing keeps on raising that, but they know they're going to get 95+% occupancy because it's a college town, and that the students will be able to pay because of student loans. Then the government needs to give them more loans, and it produces this giant bubble that is going to pop. It's going to pop.
And keep in mind, on a student loan, you cannot throw it into a bankruptcy.
Correct.
You cannot stuck with it until you go to your grave.
Yes. You could get it waived if you become permanently disabled, but I would not advocate snapping your neck to get out of your student loans. So a similar thing has, in a way, occurred in California because property taxes keep going up. Income taxes keep going up, so everyone wants to get paid more to cover for that. And so they're producing a very similar type of bubble. So they helped contribute to the problem, no doubt, by having several high-paying jobs, but they are not the sole reason for the costs being so high. So are they trying to help alleviate the problem, or are they trying to help with making more money off of the problem? That's the question. If they're producing housing that's cheap as long as you work at the company, it's serfdom, and that's a problem. If it's good wages, if it's genuinely, it's like, hey, we're making so much money, we have a crisis, we're going to help the government solve this problem by pushing this out. Kudos to them. That's good. And so that's why it's worth reading these and trying to parse out what's going on. I
don't see this working out unless they actually take the $1 billion, buy the land with it, and actually treat it as a donation through a donation trustee. And the donation trustee gets to sell property at the reduced price to the low-income people. It's the only way it's going to be right.
Yeah. If you've ever been in government-subsidized housing, it's not particularly good stuff.
I'm saying that, I'm not even saying get the government involved. Just have a trustee with all this stuff in hand.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that. I mean, you could even say build in like a 5% return,
But you probably got the right to eye on it with the government, because the government's always got its fingers in everything.
Yep. All right, other thoughts?
Actually, I'll say one thing here.
Yep.
The other thing about is the amount of devices that are going to be in these houses. Like, if you think about it, is there going to be like Google Assistant built into the wall or something?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't think I included it in my articles for this week. But since Google bought Nest, many contractors have stopped building them in. So there was a time when many contractors building these big developments would actually put Nest products all throughout.
Yeah.
But when Google
I
bought them,
know.
they kind of stopped because, and their cited reason, it's not, ooh, evil Google, it's that Google keeps breaking stuff and these Nest devices are no longer working with as many things. They're trying to force you into a certain ecosystem. But yeah, if their money went into this, you better believe these things. Like Facebook's going to have built-in portals and telescreens and microphones all over. You know, they're going to be listening for the wake words. If you talk about the man at home, man, they're tracking you, and then you're gonna get disappeared one day in some black bag somewhere because you said something bad about the robot in command. You know, because your house is always listening. Now that's getting too conspiratorial, aren't we? Man, I think I figured out the plot
Halloween
to the next
stuff.
science fiction book, right? Sounds like a good science
Halloween
fiction
stuff.
plot book. Maybe I'll work on that, right? All right. Anything
And
else?
you get
on
to
that?
pay $3,500 a month for that. I
Well,
mean, down
right-
here you could get a mortgage on a palace for that much.
Yeah, well, that's the problem right now is that as of right now, the average housing in San Francisco is $35,000 for a single bedroom apartment. 3,500. I keep on saying 35,000. I'm sorry, guys. It says 3,500. It's a lot, man. It costs a lot to live up there.
Yeah, that's not low cost.
Yeah, but now that's the problem. So they're trying to solve that. So the question is, they're going to build all these new units. Will that drive the prices down, not only in these units, but other units as well? If we can get the one bedroom down into a cool, 1,000, 1,500, we might be at a reasonable time,
You have to get it down low enough where a person can bargain against one house, then bargain against another, and get the best deal out of them.
Yeah.
There has to be competition implied here.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what Airbnb hurts, is the competition. All right. Other thoughts? Well, let's
Be
have a look.
interesting if you work for Google, could you bargain a Google house against a Facebook house?
Ooh, that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
I-
I might
yeah.
go to work for your competition, man. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I
How
just
do
get
you-
this smelling this is a front for something else.
Yeah, it might be. Hello,
Yeah.
Rich. How's
Yeah,
it
that's
going
what I was.
there?
That's what I was thinking, Dan.
Yeah, it's really yeah, it would be. It very possibly could
It's a
be.
bit of a. It's a bit of a PR thing as well because they don't want people saying that all their workers are driving up housing prices because they're getting paid these six-figure incomes. Nobody else can afford it. So they had to do something. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
There is definitely a problem, like Tom was saying, with the $3,500 thing. Them prices are really that high, and if you have a house, the taxes on it are that high or higher, and people are just leaving that state because they can't afford to even stand in it.
Which is sad because I prefer they all stay in that state because like they're all moving down to Texas now, and now Texas is slowly becoming purple, and that frightens me. Yeah. Not that I'm red. I prefer the liberal stuff stay on that side of the San Andreas. So when the
I
big
think
one
that's
comes,
part of their playbook. I really do. I think that's part of their playbook.
Yeah. Rick
I
Ford's
would
dad
agree.
was a minor, horrible conditions. Yeah. I can link the video from which video are you talking about, Sly? Let's see. Hello, Simply Linux. How's it going there? Wow, I'm super behind in the comments.
Yeah,
Isn't
there's
it
people in
possible
the
for
house.
big companies to create suburbs for Silicon Valley? Of course, this needs the correct infrastructure. Well, yeah, okay, so yeah, is it possible for big companies to create suburbs? Yes, that's exactly what happened in the oil towns, and it was devastating to the people. So, yes, it's possible. Please don't do it. Didn't Mark Zuckerberg buy his whole block for privacy? Yes, he did. Mark Zuckerberg did buy the entire block so that he can block people out and have privacy, which is the epitome of irony, right? We need to go and bug Mark Zuckerberg's house and live stream it. That'd be fun, right? If anybody sees any comments you want to read, go for it. I'm still scanning through. I'm about halfway through, it looks like.
Oh, there was one from Simply Linux about kneecapping, but I'll wait till you get to that.
About what? About kneecapping? Nice.
Yes.
All right. Hopefully I don't miss it. 500 gigabytes here. All right. My home lab consists of mostly low-end laptops, a couple decent workstations, a lot of old servers. Yeah. Click the like button. Thank you for that reminder, Ridge. Like that video, everybody. New video on Kodashi. All right. What'd you miss? You missed a lot. Sorry. Not sure, of course, where or when, but would a teacher/barber buy a cheaper house powered by Google/Facebook tech, give up more privacy? Ooh, that is a good question. What do you guys think? Would you pay less for your house or a lower rent to have your house bugged by big tech? Who's on me? Who's with me with that idea? Should we do it?
No, I would not do that.
No.
Now, first of all, do they have to disclose that the house has the tech in it, or not? Can they not tell you it's there and you buy the house? And
there have been research studies about this, and when people know that there is that type of tech in their house, they are much more quiet and reserved and shy and hidden and private than when they realize than when they think that there's not. So that's a good question.
That's really sad, because you're actually putting somebody in jail in their own house.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some interesting studies about that, though. Think about having your own Jarvis in a house powered by Google tech. No, I don't want to. See, here's the thing. If I could have a nice house like that, a home automated house that was completely off the internet, that is not, anything that goes on in that house stays on in that house, I'm okay with that. The tech could be interesting. I mean, maybe. I don't really need to turn my blinds over here into smart blinds. It is pretty low maintenance time to go and open the blinds, as I demonstrated on the
No,
news
an AI powered house, no way. I'd be afraid of it even if it wasn't on the internet. It'd be Terminator in your own house.
The only thing I would want if I did set up a system like that would be to have maybe a couple lights, like outside lights that you could turn on and off remotely and that were on like a timer. Mm-hmm. Which I know Mozilla is one. The Mozilla Web Things has that feature.
Yeah.
And then I would also like to have a Zigbee-powered thermostat, so that way you could get that Nest type effect.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's applications, but I'm telling you.
They make Zigbee-powered thermostats, and all you would have to do is you would just add it to the smart home gateway. You would just VPN in, and then you could turn it up and down remotely.
Yeah, and that's why, hey, maybe we should just teach people how to make their own home VPNs. They can access this stuff without anybody else accessing it, but I don't know. Somebody mentioned the seedy parts of town. Sounds like fun. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So now it is back to the medieval times and lords and serfs. That's right. Lord Zuckerberg. Lord Zuckerberg. I think that sounds like a nightmare right there, right? Simply Linux can do kneecapping to help you with the student loans. Awesome. Nice. Simply Linux, I will need to know your service area for that. That sounds good. Neo-feudalism, right?
Kneecapping. That sounds terrible. That sounds like they're coming to take out your knees.
That's what kneecapping was for old thug life, gang thug life. You didn't pay your debts, someone would come by and just kneecap you.
It's as bad as the caddy trunk.
Yeah, that's right. The caddy trunk is like level 3. You're making the mob mad. Level 1, you're making the mob mad is kneecapping. But it's like level 2. I forget what level 2 would be, but level 3 is the caddy trunk. The caddy trunk and the concrete galoshes, yo. So, Vince, tell me about this. You're only happy living under Papa Smurf. Tell me about that.
Because he was a benevolent ruler.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So you don't think Zuckerberg would be a benevolent ruler?
Is that what I implied? Sorry. Yeah, that is what I implied. Huh?
No, no. I mean, would Zuckerberg be a benevolent ruler? I mean, if we were under the Zuck's serfdom, lordship, and serfdom, would that be an interesting?
If you put on a red hat and grow a nice, really friendly beard, then maybe I'll reconsider it.
Okay, all right. So Mark Zuckerberg, there's the haul out. Now, if he's got the red hair already, but Big Brother Google Eye on their employees in employee housing. Toe the line according to the rules, or you're out. That's right. Imagine you've had a hard day at work, right? You go home. Oh, you go to turn the house, and you get a 404 on your door. Your old 404 error. You've engaged in a wrong thing. You may not enter today. What?
Bed bug infestation, 404 at the door.
Yeah. 404, you may not enter. Entry code not found. You have been exiled for your thoughts about Google. I didn't say them. It didn't matter. You had them. No.
They got a big bed bug problem up in Flint. It infects the whole city.
Ugh.
There was an article where a grandmother sent her grandson to school in a hazmat suit.
Is that to keep bed bugs out or to keep bed bugs in?
They keep them out so they wouldn't come home.
Yeah. Wow. What is the average house price in the States? Well, in California, where we're talking about, what's that, like 3 point something million, I think? No, it's 1.6 million for an average house. Here where I live, the average median single family house is 250,000. Anybody know in your areas?
I think in my area, it's probably around, in my neighborhood here in Metro Atlanta, it's probably around for like a 4-bedroom house, it's probably like 600,000, like.
Okay. And the 4-bedroom's pretty big.
High 500.
Yeah,
what?
That's probably a little bit bigger than single family, but
yeah, for $600,000, you could get a 4-bedroom, 3,500 square foot house on a lake here.
Like, because we sold, when we sold our old house, which was an old 1930s craftsman bungalow, it was almost 700, and it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. It was almost $700,000.
That's pretty pricey. Yeah.
Here it's
That's
about
just my neighborhood, but I think it's cheaper when you get outside of Metro Atlanta.
Yeah.
here it's about 300,000 to 400,000 for like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah.
2,000 square foot.
You can find it.
What's Alcee looking like?
We've now been into the top most expensive cities in the world to live.
Oh, really?
Primarily because of cost of living, but also real estate has just shot through the roof in the last 10 to 15 years or so. I mean, we were lucky because we bought our place a while back ago, but since then, like the value's just doubled.
Wow.
So it's super expensive here to live now.
Wow. All right. Dan, were you saying something? I think. Somebody.
You can get a house around here still for around $170,000. It would be a house out on a dirt road, maybe with less than an acre.
Yeah.
But the price ranges in my state are all over the map, and this state's got a lot of natural resources here. There's a lot of water and a lot of lakes. Lakefront property's really high because the lakes are big enough to have speedboats and everything else on, fishing. There's a lot of sportsman stuff like that. A lot of people here have cabins up in the northern part of the states just for vacation spots.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it's like here.
Shadow Slide, Texas becoming purple. Oh, yes. Yeah. What's happening is there's a mass influx of people moving into Texas from California, and they're bringing their politics with them. So it's kind of causing some culture clash down there.
Yeah, we're getting that in Florida also. People coming down from New York and New Jersey.
We got it here. My county used to be a really strong conservative county. Everybody here has a war chest of guns. And Mike Rogers, that was on the Senate, the House of Representatives, he resigned, and they slipped in one of those other ones. There's some rumor that Nancy Pelosi had something to do with it as well, but I'm not going to get in it because it's politics, and we don't want to go there.
Yeah. There you go. Bugging the Zuck would make an interesting sitcom. What do you think, guys? All zucked up.
All zucked up.
No. I was thinking the Zuckerman show, but
The Zucker Sucker.
Yeah. Blender. Talk a little bit of talk about Blender. Yes, Blender is very good. I did one of my book covers in Blender. It took me hours upon hours. And then, of course, to render the quality that you need to actually print a book cover, which has to be like 300 DPI, I think it took like 5 hours to render, I think. Oh, boy. For a single frame, by the way. Single frame render, 5 hours, yeah. With the right equipment and Kali, one could probably have some fun parked next to Zuck's mansion. But the problem is you're not going to get close to Zuck's mansion because he owns like the whole block. That's the problem.
They go up to Mark Zuckerberg, and terms and conditions may apply. Have you seen that last little bit where they go up to Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah. They're like, he'll like at least talk to him when they turn their camera off. He was wearing spy glasses. So once the camera's off, it's almost, they smiled at me. Look at that.
It makes you wonder how they came up with all the money to build such huge complexes in such a high demanding area.
Yeah.
A lot of them they bought, like I know Facebook bought their headquarters from Sun.
Oh, Sun Microsystems?
Yes, Sun Microsystems was who built Facebook's headquarters, and then Facebook bought it from them after the whole Oracle merge.
Okay.
So a lot of them aren't new. Like Google's, I think the front of it is new, but the back of it is like old. Like they were old, like 1970s looking buildings that weren't very pretty. It did not look like when you Googled a picture of Google headquarters, it did not look like that.
A 1970s computer's not very pretty.
Yeah. Daniel Beeston turned 25 a week ago. Happy birthday. Belated birthday to you, Daniel. Awesome. Thanks for watching. There's passive surveillance all around. A lot of people not even know about it, especially in the government buildings in the U.S. Yep. We asked when I lived out west. They actually had signs when you were in the municipal building to get your driver's license stuff or like license plate stuff, registering vehicles, anything that required that. They actually had signs like "Beware, police can listen to phone calls if you're in this area." So hey, at least they were nice about it. They're telling people. Geesh, the comments, they're never going to end. They're never going to end. At least the student loans.
Yeah, it's a lot of talk from 33 people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Simply Linux. At least the students' loans will be squashed. Yes, that's if you get kneecapped. You get kneecapped, permanent disability. I was kneecapped for not being able to pay my student loans. Well, I guess you can get off your student loans then. Well, they'd probably make you go work somewhere in a wheelchair or something, though. You can still do something. Plug yourself into the matrix. Suck some power out of you. No, Gnostic, I've not seen Jackie Brown that I know of. It was a Buick, but a trunk is not a place you want to be, especially if it's lined in plastic. That's right. That's right. Got to be careful of that. Okay. Can't get 20 acres and two-story house with 4 bedrooms and a barn and building for $300K. Yeah, my mother's house is, I think hers is $250,000. And it's a front apartment, 6,000 square feet, a 6-car garage, a barn on 9 acres, $250,000. Out here, like, the little house down the street, which is a little 2-bedroom thing without a basement on a 1/4 acre of land, is like 300.
I think as much as housing has been creeping up, I think we're due for another housing bubble.
Yeah, probably. I should save my down payment now, and when that housing bubble goes in, just snag something.
Yeah.
Ooh, Simply Linux is now offering a package deal. He says kneecapping and I'll break your hands for another 50.
Oh, nice. So is that how you get out of your student loans? Can you picture? In fact, oh man, I have this hilarious story. This is kind of the craziest of my brother's things. Like he had a friend that was in the military or whatever, and they ended up calling him to go to Iraq or something. And he's like, I don't want to go to Iraq, man. He's like, you got to break my leg. What? You got to break my leg, then I won't go. They're like, he's sitting in a parking lot. He leans over this. He's got a brick. He's like, dude, I can't do this. But yeah, so there you go. You need to get out of your student loans. Bankruptcy's not an option. So you just pay some underground thug to kneecap you, permanently disable you. You'll get out of your student loans. Look at that. We got solutions here. We got solutions. Oh, boy. Not good. Not good.
You are not disabled until the SSDI people certify you disabled and you start receiving checks from them. Otherwise, you can't use that disabled word anywhere.
Yeah. Does that apply to
If
student
you-
loans as well?
If you have no kneecaps, you can still work according to them. You can call
Well,
people on the phone all day.
If you have a degree, it pretty much guarantees you a desk job, right? An office job, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's a desk.
Now,
And
here,
come
if
on,
you have a
ADA
mental,
is the thing.
if you have a mental issue, like if you're bipolar or something like that, they will give you SSDI like in 3 months.
Yeah. Well, that's all you got to do is just go and see a psychiatrist, and every time you're there, you just put on a different attitude for a while.
Yeah, going as Dr. Jekyll one time and Mr. Hyde the next appointment.
Yeah. Can you see if you just slow down? It hit 144,000. Well, if it's that high, just bake some eggs on it, man. Come on. Yeah, just why pay? Just slam your own hand in a car door. There you go. Get involved in a thug beating or something. I don't know. Cut off the trigger fingers. Yeah. Renting is like dating. You can walk away. Buying is like marriage. Yeah. There you go. Woohoo! We hit the bottom of the comments.
Woohoo!
All right. Hey, and it's right about 8 o'clock, so I think we're going to go and wrap this up here in just a moment. Final thoughts, everybody. What are your final thoughts?
It's sort of interesting how the more forward we go, the more backward we go. Everything runs in cycles.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think these stories we looked at tonight, there's a whole lot more behind them than we're seeing.
Yeah, that is very true.
Companies just don't cough up their cash for good reasons.
Yeah. Quint, final thoughts?
Yeah, I do not like where this is going, even though they're making it seem like a really good idea. That's probably just going to be all embedded with all sorts of spying technology and everything.
Yeah. Fun. Vince?
Yeah,
final
can you
thoughts?
remember what
Oh,
Tom, you talk about the mining towns and all that. Imagine the mining towns and oil towns if they had all the technology we had today in the houses along with it.
that'd be kind of crazy.
Them people have absolutely no privacy. You'd see mass suicides because they couldn't get away from the thugs that are running the operation.
Yeah. Indeed. Quint, final thoughts?
I already did mine, remember?
Oh, I'm sorry. Vince, I'm sorry.
You can do a
Apparently-
second one if you want.
Yeah, I mean,
I
go ahead, Vince.
I completely echo what Brian said. Like if we can't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it.
Correct. Yes. So, I mean, the warning is always check those rental contracts, check those employment contracts. Make sure that you're not there and realize that most things are at least up for some degree of negotiation. You can negotiate out of some things. You can you can do that, but also be aware that sometimes the stuff that they're pushing on us is for their good and not for our good. So that is that.
I can tell you where I used to work. They had a do not compete clause, and everybody that they hired in since I want to say 98. This meant that if you were to leave the company, you cannot go work for a similar company in the similar business because you know all the previous company that you worked at, all their trade secrets, all their accounts, where they do business and everything else. So you cannot go in the same field and work again.
Yeah. Which I thought you were going to say it was a no complete clause, so you're not allowed to finish any job you started, but you know. But yeah, actually, I did talk about was it last week or 2 weeks ago on the news? We did talk about the no compete ban that they're talking about up in Congress. I once again have another live stream going on at 9 o'clock tonight on my other channel. This is my Christian channel, and we're going to be looking at the John MacArthur Beth Moore debate that happened this last week because that's exciting. So, of course, there was some comment that some people were taken out. So the question is, can females be pastors and preachers? And is John MacArthur a crazy heretic? And is Beth Moore a wonderful preacher? Those are the questions we're going to be ask and answer on the live stream tonight. It's going to be interesting, I guess. So just be aware, I put the link for that in the chat, so you can join me on over there in about 1 hour. Okay, let's see. Intelligence is a red flag anymore. Yeah. Dude, that guy's got a functioning brain. Go take his stuff. His pointy, clicky things. I'm not going to use that word next to red flag. What are you talking about? All right. Derek just ate pizza. No, poor pizza. How could you?
Yeah, he loves pizza. He has it about once a week.
Oh, Derek?
Yeah.
The funny thing, though, is Pizza Loving Nerd's favorite food is actually tacos.
Is that true?
Yes, that's true. Okay. All right. Anything else before we jump off here? All right. Well, we will catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up from here. Hi, Anna Rita. I'm sorry, Anna Rita. We are jumping off tonight. But we will be streaming on my other channel here in 1 hour. You can join me over there.
Poor Anna.
Yeah, poor Anna Rita. She missed it.
Yeah. I'm going to give it about 15 seconds and I'm going to shut it off. Since I turned off my preview, I don't know exactly how far we're going to go here.
So my Bluetooth headphones were only playing out of one